Hello and welcome to our off-season update. I'm currently standing in the driveway of the Sydney Heritage Fleet's depot down here in Roselle Bay, and this is quite an amazing setup they've got down here. It's no coincidence we're here because we're working on another restoration across the road. I'll tell you about that a bit later. But right now you can see the John Oxley. This boat has been up on this dry dock here for quite a few years. Major replating, as you can see, going on there, and they've got these great volunteers, all these retired guys and women in some cases, that come down here and use their skills, all these skills of rebuilding these boats. This is a steamboat, and all of that machinery side of things, just amazing what they do down here. So it's the 13th of May and getting a bit cool down here, so we're certainly not sailing at the moment, but we've got a lot of work to do. Come and I'll show you one of our other restorations across the road. So I'm sort of hoping most of you would have seen, if you followed our clips last season, our 18-footer race clips, that particularly during the JJ Giltman, on the Saturday races, we featured on two occasions the old wooden replica boats racing out in the harbour, and what we're about to show you is one of those boats called Alruth. It's inside this shed, so we'll just come in and show you the state of this baby. It's an 18-footer, and this is where the DNA began and the modern boats evolved. The major difference with these boats, of course, is these are all timber and the modern ones are pure carbon, so there's a great deal of difference, but it's fascinating to see how these boats evolved, and we've got a classic example here in Alruth. This boat's been raced for 9 years continuously, and so they cop a bit of a hiding. So this boat's got a few woes here that we're going to take care of, but come and have a look. So this 18-foot replica is the Alruth, and it's quite a famous boat, probably mostly because it was built and designed by Alf Bieshel, who is a stalwart of the 18-footer league, which exists where the moderns race from now. And this is a 1934 model. Alf actually designed and built and raced probably 3 or 4 of these boats during his career, and a great sailing family you'd never find, because Alf fathered Kenny Bieshel, who I'm pretty sure you all know who Ken was. Great shipwright and skiff sailor, sailed the 18s, 16-footers, multiple championships, and of course Kenny produced 2 great sailors himself with Colin and Adam Bieshel, who are currently still carving up racing fleets whenever they choose to, and involved in most of the major yachting projects around the world these days. So that's the baby. Come and I'll show you what's going on inside this boat and how they were constructed. So getting back to the comparison between these boats and the modern carbon boats that they're racing down the league nowadays, these boats were all open, and a modern 18-foot skiff, as you know, is totally decked in. They can capsize as many times as they like, not that they want to, but they can just right them and sail away. If this thing goes in the water, it sinks right up to about here, and you've got to get towed ashore. So these were the sort of these are the big differences. These boats weren't worried about making them light. They were way better if they were built with a whole lot of strength in them. If you built a strong boat, that meant that you could drive your boat harder, and these boats sail and race up into high 30s, and we've been out close to 50 knots in these things. Very scary, but they're more of a displacement boat, so they're not up on top of the water. The modern 18 these days, they don't like starting a race in any more than 25 knots. We've been out and started races in these boats in over 30 knots, because you can reef these boats down. They've got 5 different sized jibs. You put a small jib on them, reef the mainsails right down and snug them up, and you're as safe as houses, as long as you don't do anything too silly. But they are very, very easy to race in those sorts of conditions. Not easy, but I shouldn't have said easy, but they're challenging, let's say that. We've had them on the scales, fully rigged, approach 600 kgs, and that's before you put the crew in them. So and this boat carries a crew of 7. The modern 18, its minimum total weight, with all its rig and rudders and the foil and spinnaker and racks on it, minimum weight for those these days is 170 kg. So big difference in weight of these boats, hence the difference in performance level. These boats going upwind, flat out doing 5 knots, and they can be very demanding up the hill, because you've got big overlapping big extensions on bowsprits and big jibs out the front and overhangs at the back with the mainsail. So these boats are way difficult to get to go to windward. You must get height in these boats, and what happens going to windward, the jib hand eases the jib in a puff. If he doesn't ease the jib, it'll wash the head away. The skipper will scream his lungs out to ease the jib, and if it's too late and the sheet hand's already eased the main, suddenly you're in trouble. The boat starts to reach, and anything can happen after that. So it's important for the crew to be right on it, dropping the jib in the gusts, keeping the main on as much as possible to drive her up into the wind. Whole lot of new techniques which you've got to apply to these things, and we're slowly but surely finding out. When Alf Bushell built this boat and designed it first obviously, he never had any plans. They had an eye for a boat, and they knew from instinct and past performances of the boat they'd been sailing on before they'd started this project, but they just got these half models, and they worked long and many hours just thinking about, dreaming about how to create the lines for this vessel. And you can see this one, it's got a lot of spring, it's got a lot of shear in the deck line, it's got quite a banana shape in the curl of it, and this made this boat quite competitive. We've raced her for a number of years. She's been racing in our fleet now for 9 years, and she performs very well in light air. It's a real rocket ship because it's got this nice arrangement with the curl line, and it performs extremely well in fresh because it gets its head right up. When it's got plenty of spinnaker on it, it will come up out of the water. The bow goes right up, which makes it pretty hard to see where you're going sometimes. So these are Silver Ash 4 1/2 that tie the boat together, and you've got all these thwarts, the steering thwart, the fin case thwart, all to tie the boat together. These fin cases in these boats, as you can see, there's quite a long case there. There's a reason for that, because these boats carry way big bowsprits over the front and big overhanging mains on long booms. So depending on the conditions, the skipper could get the feel of the boat and adjust the fin anywhere from the front to the back to try and get the right feel during a race. Now, this is one of the problems with these old boats. As I said, 9 years of hard racing, and you can see these copper nails and rows in these stringers here. It's just really tough going to get all the varnish out of these nails, because they actually oxidise underneath the varnish. So that's going to be rather tedious. We're going to have to polish all them up with wire brush on a drill. Everyone done individually, so that the varnish will adhere to them again, otherwise we'll be wasting our time. So there's a lot of preparation in what we're undertaking here. We found that she had indeed 7 broken ribs underneath this mast step. Now, we got Ian Perdrio down, who's quite an accomplished skiff sailor and a skiff builder over the years, and Pers came down, and you can see he's ripped that mast step out of it. He's taken the tabernacle out with it. He's chopped that out, so he's going to rebuild all of that. He's going to replace these ribs. He'll scarf them in. He'll put some chocks under these ribs and through fasten them. So when this boat's finished and ready to varnish, this boat will be stronger than ever. Well, that's what we're hoping. But the maintenance of these boats now is way important to us, and once again it's a steep learning curve. We've got to come to grips with the damage that these boats sustain, how to repair them properly, because we don't want to lose them. And this boat here now, you can see, is pretty well advanced in the stripping. So once this is all this varnish is taken away, we'll get the sander out, make it nice and smooth, tighten up any nails, and then give her a couple of coats of Everdew just to let it soak back in and give it some condition into that timber, and then apply the coats. So just in wrapping up down here in the Hobbs Brothers shed in the old Alruth project, I guess it's worth being conscious of the fact that we are so lucky in Sydney Harbour, where these iconic boats were designed and raced for just about 12 decades now, since 1891 when it all started, and been raced continuously, that we have these old boats. And thanks to guys like John Winning, who has passion for these, particularly 18-footers, and these boats and the moderns, without him these boats certainly wouldn't be as many as they are. We've got 10 boats racing each Saturday, and thanks to John Winning for his passion, and which gives us old fellas that sailed 18-footers when we were kids a chance to sort of join your mates and enjoy Saturday afternoon racing on these great old things. The most fun you can have with your clothes on, I can tell you. So I hope you enjoyed that little insight into our off-season project down here. And thanks also to Christophe Favreau, our old mate from France, who comes down for the JJ and brings all his gear down. He did a great job of shooting those stills, and the video we've stitched into this clip. And for any of you that have been looking into the archive on our www.18footer.com.au website, you'll see that the archive, Simon's tidied all the archive and got all the clips in the right order in their events, from the New South Wales Championships to the Australian and to the JJ Gilton. Have a look on there and just pick out the races you want to see. It's always good to sit around with your mates and enjoy some of the past racing. So right now from us, we'll see you again shortly when we hope we can bring you another off-season update.